Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the Uncensored match build-up. Liverpool taking on Crystal Palace at Anfield this weekend. The grind, as we said on the podcast this week, Chris, continues unabated. Chris Pajak's here, of course. Ross Chanley's here making his on-sofa debut. I haven't gone to bed at 4 o'clock this morning, so this should be good. First and foremost,
how did your day go?
First and foremost, yeah. Sounds, yeah. 4 o'clock in the morning, best have done. Yeah, there's no escaping it. This is where we are at this point of the season. We're almost at a point now where you could copy and paste these agendas for the rest of the campaign.
You've been doing that for 7 years, Paul.
Liverpool just got to go out there and get 3 points by whatever means necessary.
I'm excited about this weekend's game. I love it when it gets to the end of the season and you're involved. You know, we're trying to keep Man United below us, we're trying to keep Arsenal below us, we want to chase City and get above them. It's brilliant. This is what football's about. Football's not about the first part of the season. You know, you've got to do well in that part of the season, of course, but it really gets fun and it gets nerve-wracking and everything, and the emotional rollercoaster is just heightened at this part of the season. It's fantastic. And look, Crystal Palace have been in good form. They've beaten Chelsea and they've beaten Arsenal in recent weeks, so we know that they're a danger to us. They're probably below where they are, you know what I mean, in the league.
Yeah, you're dead right. I mentioned this on the news show. I don't know if I have to tell. I did a video for the 5-year plan and previewing the game, and I said this was like, I think Palace are rightly where they are. And I went, hang on, no, they're not rightly where they are because they were terrible at the start of the season. But under Allardyce, they've picked it up, and exactly what Chris says there. It's a different. We know roughly what to expect from Sam Allardyce. We know he'll want to try and engineer a win here. But Chris is right. Palace are as dangerous a side as they've probably ever been in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think a lot to do with that is Saka as well. I've seen some stats things on Match of the Day a couple of weeks ago. The improvement they've made in the back four. Well, Allardyce as well, but with Saka, I think he's got to be quite grateful that he's not playing.
Yeah, wouldn't it be wonderful if he was the linchpin to it all?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm fingers crossed, mate.
Yeah. In every sense.
Yeah, that's what you want, isn't it? And look, you know, he's played fantastically well for them. There's no denying that. But he's played fantastically well in a defence that's working well together. It's not just all Mamadou Sakho. It's how he links in with the other centre-backs and his full-backs and stuff like that, and his goalkeeper, and how the team shapes up. You know, it's one of the things that maybe I think that Sakho might not do as well this season as he has in previous years for us, is because I think it's completely different defending in a team that's set out to not lose the game first and foremost, whereas I think Liverpool's set up to win first and foremost, and I think there's a little bit of a difference there with how good a defender he's. Look, he's a fantastic defender. He's a talented footballer. We've seen that firsthand. Hopefully, they fall apart without him there. But it wouldn't surprise me if Allardyce has just got that defence humming with or without him. Yeah,
no, completely agree on that. While we're on the subject of Crystal Palace then, Chris, you've wonderfully gone ahead once again this week and prepared some Crystal Palace information for us.
Big thanks to StatZone, because they prepared it. I just copy and paste.
A little bit, I thought we'd lost you for a second there.
No, I'm fine. I've got some good ones.
Lost in the woods.
Some good ones here, mate. Liverpool have won their last 2 Premier League games against Palace after going 4 without a win against them. That's drawn 1, lost 3 prior to the last 2 wins. Roberto Firmino has scored in his last 2 Premier League games against the Eagles. Okay. Nice. Liverpool have lost just once in their last 24 Premier League games at Anfield, winning 15 and drawing 8. Although in those 24 games we've only had 7 clean sheets in those 24 games, which are obviously a concern that we know about. Palace have won their last 2 matches at Anfield in the Premier League. The last team to win 3 in a row, Chelsea in 2005, October, was the last team to win the 3 matches in the Premier League on the bounce in Anfield. Oh, very interesting. Here's one that I didn't know. And I didn't know most of them in fairness. Here's another one that I didn't know. Sam Allardyce has never won a Premier League game at Anfield as a manager.
Ooh.
Good.
Long way that.
If I'd have asked you, he's a bogey manager, surely. Yeah. You know what I mean? You wouldn't think it would be just hard away games or anything like that.
Yeah, as well. I think it's probably those things, because you remember was it West Ham where they made a big stink about him they made the coach park further away and they turned the heating up in the dressing room and all that kind of stuff, and you think, yeah, he's got that, he carries that with him. I think you're right, it's that I remember all the little bits and pieces that he does and the bits and pieces that he's tried to do. But yeah, it's weird how you have that mentality.
He's drawn 3 and lost 10 as a manager against us in the Premier League at Anfield.
Wow.
I know. And then, you know, here's the one that we're all worried about. Christian Benteke has scored 3 goals in his previous 2 Premier League games at Anfield as an opposition player.
Yeah. I think he's...
Because he definitely didn't score 3 in his last 2 games at Anfield for us.
Did he definitely not?
Well, I have no idea, but I'm just going out on a limb and saying he definitely didn't.
In fact, I'd love to know actually in the comments below. Could someone find that out for us? What was Christian Benteke's goal to game ratio at Anfield in his last... Let's do his last 5 to make it interesting.
Well, hang on, that's not right.
Okay.
You can do his last 5.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to read it.
If it works out to be last 3, then do let us know that. Absolutely. And also tweet us at the Redmen TV to remind us. Christian Benteke is an interesting one, Ross, because...
He's very good.
He's very good. Yeah, he's good at football, isn't he? He's very good at the role that he plays. And exactly as Chris points out right there, we before he was a Liverpool player, we struggled to handle him in these games.
I think he's just nailed on. He's going to score, isn't he? He had a terrible record with us, and he said before, he's always scored, brilliant. But I think he's, like you said before, in the team that they play, he's in a team that sets up for him now. And he's got the pace of Townsend, Zaha can just ping balls into him. With our defence as well, I know we've got a lot of injuries and stuff. He's just got to take the most of it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's certainly going to be looking for it, isn't he, Paul? And I think you're right, Ross. I think, you know, the paces are hard, Townsend. That's going to be a little bit of a worry for us. And you know, I've done a starting 11 prediction show, which will be out later today. You know, do you go 3 at the back? Do you go 4 at the back? These injuries play a massive part in how Liverpool are going to set up, and I think Benteke plays a massive part in how Liverpool set up, because it was something me and you were talking before the starting 11 prediction. I did one with Kleiny at the back in the 3, and you went, Benteke will just roll onto him.
Yeah.
And it's right. You know, there's clear weaknesses. Equally, I was thinking about it sort of further on from that. You play 3 at the back, that's a lot of space that you're asking 2 centre-halves to cover Townsend and Zaha in.
You've got to, yeah. The crucial issue in that is, yeah, you're dead right on there. They could have an absolute field day if they've got the channels to run into. What we saw at Stoke, particularly with Arnautovic, and that's Arnautovic, by the way. You know, I think Arnautovic is a really good player.
Oh yeah,
but you wouldn't have him as a winger. You know, he's not a winger, is he? You know,
not the chocolate factory with the rest of the Umpa-Umpas.
Yeah, Arnautovic.
No, not Arnautovic. The other one, Shaqiri. He had a lot of space as well.
Him too. Yeah, but in this particular instance, Arnautovic on the left. The gap between Dejan Lovren and Trent Alexander-Arnold when we played 3 at the back, it highlighted that neither of those guys knew naturally how to play that position, which would worry me playing against 2 proper wingers. So that is a massive concern for us. We'll come on to a little bit about how Liverpool are going to line up in a second, but first, let's quickly go over.
Okay.
What?
I just wanted to mention my bet that I'm putting on this weekend. I will be putting on a request a bet for Christian Benteke to score a 1-on-1, because I just want to head that off now. Could you imagine the fume if Christian Benteke scores a 1-on-1?
Absolutely.
And you know where I'll be doing it, Paul? Ladbrokes. Yeah, if you want more Christian Benteke talking about and Chris's potential fume over that, do go check out the podcast. It's available now. You can get that on iTunes and on Acast as well. But while we're in the swing of plugging things that we do, here's some merchandise that we have. The Redmen TV shop is open now. The Coutinho Verse shirt is available, of course, and you can go and get it by clicking the card in the corner.
Just do it. Just do it. Make yourselves look better.
I think that's Nike's slogan.
Just do it and make yourself look better. Sentence. There was no. It felt like there was
Just
a pause there.
Just do it.
Just do it and make
That's
yourself
what
look
you
better. Yeah, just do it and make yourself look better. It's not Nike's at all.
Just do it is certainly Nike's.
Yeah, but no, that you can't. That's just
a big swoosh next to it.
no, don't be daft. Upside down one. Yeah, it's a swish. But yeah, look, you mentioned the potential change in system, potential change in personnel. Like, we wrote this agenda earlier on in the week, and then Klopp's press conference, and he came up with that. Ross and said, Joel Matip, Dejan Lovren, Joel Matip, Ragnar Klavan, Lucas Leiva, none of them were training on Thursday morning.
Yeah.
So once again, we're in a situation where we're not even got the possibility of keeping the same team, even if we wanted to. Particularly given the threat we've discussed of Zaha, Townsend and Benteke, it's got to be a concern.
Definitely, yeah. Could do with recalling Sacco, to be honest, couldn't we? But just for that one game and then give him back.
Well, if you can't play, I'm understanding.
Yeah.
It's still time.
Bring him
Couple of
along.
days, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably no one's taking the number 3 shirt, have they? Gives a shit. God, yeah.
You're definitely concerned. We were talking about it upstairs before you did your starting 11. He was just trying to think of like who would you put in there, especially with like the attack that they've got, who can cope with the Zaha, Townsend, Benteke thing. So you're probably looking at Joe Gomez making a start, or I suggested putting Chan at the back, but then you said it's in a 3. He's played him before. He's just.
I think he's good. I think he's good in a 3.
I don't think he's got the pace though to compete with Zaha and Townsend.
Maybe
Especially if he's got a turn as well with the ball.
yeah, we know he's just got the turn and pace. That's an absolute given. It's a real conundrum for the manager because you basically.
Sod Klopp, it was a conundrum for me. Poor Chris Pajak on the Start 11 prediction show. Klopp gets paid a lot of money, I get fuck all.
Yeah, I did wish it all the best. The biggest loss here for us, I think anyway, is I think put Gomez in at the back, fine, because look, we don't know how far away he is. We know that he's had a couple of appearances on the bench, so we know he's getting to there. And if we'd had a problem during a match, he'd have come into that game and we'd have had to deal with it. We know he's a talented lad. I'm not bothered about that. It's the Lucas thing for me. And what we've seen, what Lucas has done in the games where we've come against target men, and like to be honest, it's an easier job against Hal Robson-Kanu than it is against Christian Benteke. But the Lovren-Lucas sandwich worked exceptionally well on Lukaku, and again, we know that's not his game. But I like that approach because I like that Dejan Lovren either tries to get in early or he gets up from behind, and Lucas either pushes him over or gets in front and looks to nip the second ball off him. I don't know if we've got anyone else who would naturally do that job as well.
I think there has been times this season where Emre Can's been tasked with that and he's done it particularly well. You know, it was about a month ago when
the Burnley game,
wasn't it? When we were wondering, this is a full-on tactic here. Chan's going back here for these goal kicks and all that type of stuff. So whether he's got it, I don't think he's as good as Lucas at it. Lucas is really underrated with his heading, especially he's much better from a defensive midfielder he's much better from a centre-back role than a defensive midfielder role, I always found. But he knows that his job when he's a DM is to disrupt and pick up the second balls. Yeah. And if there's one thing Lucas is, he's studious. He makes sure that he's available for them. Do you know what I mean? He's always in the right position. He knows if he can't win it, second ball, and that's my job. And you know, I think that Lucas Lovren sandwich is a really good option for us. And the fact that it's been taken away is a little bit gutting, to be honest. But I do think that Chan can do that role.
Cool. For you then, Ross, do you go 3 at the back or do you stay with 4?
I'd stay with 4, but I was just toying with the idea in my head of what you're talking about. That is putting Milner in that position, and
in the defensive midfield.
In a little sandwich because I knew he's like.
Because it works sensationally well against Stoke.
But but he's like a grafter, and he'll go up for them headers, and he won't shit out of a tackle. But then the problem you got then is you probably have to play Moreno at left back. And do you want to do that? Or Trent.
Here's what I would do.
Without giving away.
Without giving away, I'd be dropping Coutinho back into midfield.
Okay.
In an iteration of one of these formations, I won't give it away completely with what I think the best option is, and I'd be playing Divock and Sturridge up top, not as a 2, but you know them on the field, and just dropping Coutinho back into that midfield role to take up the Adam Lallana role gives you a few more options defensively.
Yeah, this got the whole hallmarks of a game where I think we're gonna push someone into playing here. I think we've reached the limit of what can be done, and I think it will be. I wouldn't be shocked to see one of Lucas, Matip, or Adam Lallana get a game, start this game, and then if it's not working out for them, you bring them out, because it might be one where you maybe see Kev Stewart come out the cold for the bench. Just for, might be the last time you get to see him in a Liverpool shirt for the senior team, certainly. I wouldn't feel comfortable with him starting the game, but I've got no problem seeing him come in for the last half an hour if we're looking to shut it down or whatever. But yeah, I think because Klopp, one thing that was telling from Klopp's press conference was him saying, well, like Adam Lallana, we all saw him back in training, and the question was asked: will he be? In fact, Jamie asked it for his FIFA predictor. Do you think he'll be playing? He's back in training. He's like, nah, don't be daft. Klopp said, listen, with the situation we're in, being available for training, it puts you in consideration for this game. So, you know, Clavan seems very unlikely because he's thought it's a medial ligament, albeit in his words, like, it's tiny. It's not a really very serious thing. That's still a proper injury, and then they're all muscle injuries other than that. So, can you manage someone through a certain amount of game? And of them, then maybe that boils down to Matip and Lucas. And for me, I think Lucas is made of sterner stuff. I think he's the kind of fella who would go out there, but whereas I think Matip is more integral for the rest of the season. That you say to Matip, go and have another week off, mate, let's get you right for
well
Watford.
Thought out, Paul.
Yeah.
It is. I think that's really interesting. Really well thought out. Don't say that for you.
You've been in the matron corner all week. I like this.
Yeah.
It was like back in the days when we didn't spend so much time together. Is there anyone else out there? It was interesting that Klopp spoke about Divock Origi. Ross took the time to bring up, and he wasn't saying like he's been sensational, but it was interesting that he mentioned what I think a lot of us have suspected. He got to a level last season, and it's just taken him time to get back to that level again.
Yeah, I think one of the words that was mentioned in the question was consistency, and it's obviously hard for him to get that when he's in and out of the team. But he spoke quite highly of him, I thought, today, to be fair. If he's getting a good run of games, like with all the injuries that we've got, it might be a good opportunity for him to kind of prove his worth. Yeah.
Well, I think these are the games that crop up, aren't there? And maybe you can make stories in football at any end of it, but with Christian Benteke starting for them and Divock Origi, there's a guy who essentially proved himself worthy of keeping a £30 million centre forward out the side. You know, we've chosen to keep Divock Origi over Christian Benteke. Big chance. And I actually think it's similarly, and I think the Belgian thing as well. Origi pulled out the stops in the derby to try and impress, knowing Romelu Lukaku's there down the other end, and because he must be thinking, you know, look, for Origi, he must be thinking right now, I can't match Lukaku's goal return at the minute. That's not going to happen this season. But what I can do is, I can look at what Lukaku's not doing, and I can make myself better at those things, and that way, you know, you then maybe start, because that's the thing. Centre forwards don't all have to be 20, 30 goal a season, guys. Do this sometimes. Look at the players who've made very good careers for themselves at international level as well by just being an all-round player. And hopefully this is another example for Origi when he goes. It's a good chance for me because there's no way Bobby Brown shoes and isn't watching this game. Because he's got two centre forwards.
Yeah.
You know,
the worry is that if Henry's watching, he'll do his normal Henry thing. But if he starts slotting them like Henry,
well, listen, if he wants to with his back to goal, flick it up, turn and volley it into the top corner, that's sound too. By all means, Divock, absolutely go for it.
Look, he needs a big performance, mate. He needs it, and I get what you're saying. I kind of just want to see the goals as well, though.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. But you get with the point.
Oh yeah, I get your point.
What Klopp's saying about him as well is you know, it'd be great if the job was just tapping in the goals at the end. But the work he's doing for it, and like I say, at the minute he just needs to put in good performances for Liverpool as much as anything, because he almost is scoring the goals, isn't he? The criticism of Divock Origi is not about finding the back of the net. It's going, he's not holding the ball up, he's not quite fitting in the system, etc. But it's a very big opportunity for him. So trivia time then, you know, just for a bit of fun. You kind of mentioned this in the Palace stats and facts and what have you, but we haven't beaten them at Anfield since 2013. Mm-hmm. I want you to name Liverpool's subs bench that day. 13-14. The team that Liverpool played was very well documented. What our full strength team was, but who were the 7 substitutes that day? Let me just see if there's any clues I can give you. One of them is still on the books.
Flanagan.
One of them is not Flanagan. No.
Lucas.
No Lucas. I'll give you a clue. He plays at the back / right back. He's currently out on
Randall.
loan. No.
On loan. Oh my word, I hate being
I bet you've forgotten he exists. Andre Wisdom.
Yeah, did.
Aye.
Totally.
Completely forgotten Andre Wisdom
Someone
exists.
Just about to say
that.
Goalkeeping sub?
Bogdan.
No, 13-14, come on.
Pepe had gone out on loan then, hadn't he?
Yeah. Who's been the understudy to Minion?
Jones.
Brad Jones. Ding. Centre half coming back in for a post-season friendly.
Carragher.
Oh, no, the other one.
Agger.
Daniel Agger. Centre back. Sold him this season because he's shit.
Skirtle.
No, January.
Oh my word.
Thiago Alori, correct. Midfielder, but also Luis Alberto, correct.
I've got him.
Winger.
Just a winger.
Yeah.
I don't know, mate.
Sold him this summer for £15 million.
Ibe.
Jordan Ibe, correct. Third best centre forward in La Liga right now.
Aspas.
Iago Aspas. There you
Got
go. There you go. So if you've got any complaints over Liverpool's subs bench at the weekend, bear in mind, A, injuries, and B, that absolute shit show that we've just had to go through there. Ross, what do you think the score's going to be, mate?
3-2.
Why? We always have high scoring games against Palace, don't we?
Okay.
And we always concede a goal. It's just inevitable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. 4-2 again.
Wow. Go ahead. Yeah, look, I'm sticking with my score of 2-1.
Yeah.
Is that a 4-2
score.
with a Benteke 1-on-1?
Yeah.
Definitely. Benteke
Benteke
1-on-1 at 2-2 with the opportunity to make it 3-2. Misses it. Liverpool go on and win 4-2 and we'll all have a happy weekend. How's that sound?
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds great. Let us know your score predictions in the comments below on that. And obviously don't forget to check out the rest of the content. Jamie's doing his FIFA predict. He needs help. Listen, you know, people watch it, people like it. I think he needs encouragement and he probably needs
a better game.
He needs a better game. He also needs tips on how to play. So obviously if you want to do that, click the video on the screen right now.
I'll put my arm around him, Paul. I'll tell him how to play FIFA.
Yeah. If you haven't done so already, click the Redmen TV logo on the screen as well to subscribe to the show.
Sometimes it's just about grinding out results.
Absolutely.
I've done that.
Absolutely. And we'll see you back here with the usual raft of post-match content.